Maiden is a documentary by Alex Holmes about the first ever all-woman crew to sail the Whitbread around the world race. Skippered by Tracy Edwards, whose upbringing had its ups and downs, she was a tearaway in her teens, ran away from home, became stewardess on a cruise boat, and then got the bug to be part of the Whitbread. She inveigled her way into being the cook on one of the races, and then decided that she didn't want to just be cook and dog's body for the men. She got the idea of forming an all-woman crew.
I remember going to the skipper and you went, we're not going to be the only racing team in the world with a girl. And that's when I made the decision to put an all-female crew into the race.
It was a laughable ambition, sneered at by journalists and other yachtsmen, but she got together a crew, a campaign, and then found it difficult to get sponsors who possibly didn't want to be associated with a disaster. The King of Jordan was Tracy's saviour. She'd met him on a previous cruise when she was the cook, and as a last resort, she approached him for support, which he gave. The rest is history. It's a journey into the past when women were denigrated for entering into the male realm, but it was a journey that stamped the future, reclaiming some male-dominated territory for the female sex. It's an extremely well put-together documentary with archival footage of the trip, letting us see the sheer guts and determination of these women who formed an amazing team and team spirit. And there are the recollections of these women now. Tracy's indomitable spirit hovers over the film. I don't imagine she was easy. She was obsessed, agonised by the possibility of her own failure. Maiden is a tub-thumping ode to the spirit of one woman and the women she carried with her. It's extraordinarily empowering and totally fascinating.
I loved this film.
Yeah.
It's a celebration of female defiance.
Yeah.
And it actually brings tears to the eyes at times. It is just, the odds they face are just extraordinary. There's wonderful footage that shows the odds that was captured by her school friend, Jo, I think her name is, who was the cook on the trip. And
she kept documented.
She had a bit of an old VHS camera that she strapped to the mast for times, and you get these.
Well, that's why you get those shots of the Southern Ocean.
It's just extraordinary. Yeah.
Scary, really.
And she's also able to capture some documentary stuff, filming the girls talking against the background of those enormous waves. It's kind of Moby Dick-like, isn't it? She's like a little sort of female Captain Ahab going out there to conquer the world. She's a wonderful character.
But the beauty of it is that these women are also so articulate about recalling those times.
Well, that, I think, is probably the strongest element of the film. Alex Holmes recorded them all quite separately, and he asked them to be quite truthful. They hadn't sort of communicated together, really, about this film, so he got them all, one off. Yeah. And they talked with great honesty and vigour about what had happened, and that contrast with those recollections contrast often with the action that he then shows, which gives it a real tension.
I think it's fantastic. And he got the idea for the film because Tracy Edwards came to the school where his daughter was to give a speech, and he went up to her afterwards and said, we've got to make a film of this, and she was quite upset that it was going to be a fiction feature. And she said, what about all the footage we've got? And, he was absolutely
His eyes
elated.
lit up at that point. But then he had to then assemble all the footage, which was a bit of a nightmare, though he was lucky enough to, the family tracked down wonderful shots of her as a child, and she was obviously a little rascal. Her mother calls her that little horror, kind of amazed at what she achieves.
No, it's a really good, empowering story.
It's a fantastic story.
I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
I'm giving it 4.5 as well. I love this.
I didn't want a real job. I wanted adventure.
I just thought that would be fantastic.
I was going to do everything I could to do it.
We didn't really take it seriously.
There was nothing to show that they would be acknowledged for anything other than failure.
I was so full of doubt and fear. All I was thinking was, am I the right person to do this?